Yes, definitely. This is the hottest internet radio station. Welcome back to the Green Line Show. I'm your host, Okola Nagabaloi. They call me the king of talk radio. I don't know why they call me by that name, but anyway, that's what they call me. Good afternoon, Tara Jack.
King, how's it going? How's it going? I'm okay, man.
Are you doing well, my son?
No, I'm all right, man. Thanks for having me on your show.
How are you doing today, Tara Jack?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right, Kulane. How are you?
No, I'm doing well, and no, thank you very much for allowing us to have this conversation with you. And before we actually start this interview, and I always say to our listeners that what we want to do is build a platform where people can learn as much as they can, so that they can actually empower themselves. And I thought to myself,
Sure.
it would be a great thing to have you on board and to talk about what you do best, which is which is property. Now, I just want to share with you guys I've got a bio here, right? So that you can actually know who Tara Jack is first, right? At infant, Tarai was abandoned by both his parents. However, he has never let his background hold him back. Tarai was a banker for most of his working career. He started his side hustle from owning a company that distributed diapers in the high density area to owning a car rental business, and then later ventured into chicken rearing. Tarai and his wife, Genevieve, lost just over 5 million. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Between 2015 and 2017, in this business, the real estate came when he ventured into property investing, one of his long time passion. Tarai is now the CEO of the M5 Property Addicts Group, a business that provides housing to over 200 families and 350 students across 4 cities in South Africa. Tarai is an author, and his latest book is called From Bad Debt to Property Mogul in 2 Years. He is also the owner and the host of a podcast called M5 Successful Friends and M5 Property Addicts, the YouTube channel, which both aim to create property investment awareness and celebrate property entrepreneurs. Now this one is the cream. It takes the cake. Just listen to this. In 2019, he was awarded Investor of the Year in the big leagues. Good afternoon, Tara Jack. Welcome to the Green Light Show.
Thanks, Kulane. Thanks for for having us on the show. And Kulane, I want to say that if it wasn't for other people that dedicated their time in teaching me to what I am, and I'm a student for life. People see what we're doing, and they think that success just comes as success, but there's a bit of teaching that comes into it. And I'm glad that on this show here we can start, and we'll be able to do this for a long time. So thanks again for your management and you as well, for us to be able to be on this platform.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. The reason why we have you here is that I know very well that you are passionate, about sharing knowledge. And these are the kind of people that we truly do need, right? And on this show to empower people. Your accomplishments speak for themselves, Tara Jack. However, they don't come without some adversities. Your journey is an interesting one, going through different transitions from being a banker to your side hustle. How did it all begin?
Well, look, Kolani, you're saying it correctly. So, for you to be able to get any form of results, I'll give you an example, Kolani. I left my wife and my children this morning at around about 4 a.m. My partner was at my door today, and we drove out. I am based in Gauteng. Yeah. And we drove out to Potchefstroom to go and see some opportunities and things like that.
Yes.
Not many people are willing to wake up at 4.
True.
Right. That's
True.
that's number one. So, we talk about where did it all start? It just starts by waking up, and being aware to the fact that there is other things there other than what you know. That's number one. And then number two, for me, where it really started, Kolani, is, and this is where I think it is more importantly for us as a people, just being inquisitive, asking yourself the other question to say, how is the other person doing it?
True.
I am sure that in our communities, wherever we are, there is someone who is successful.
Yeah,
and if we are not seeing those people and asking ourselves the question to say, how are they doing it? Our mind is never going to be able to work to see those opportunities. Being inquisitive just basically means you're submitting to yourself to say, I actually don't know what I don't know, because the things that you don't know are the things that other people are utilizing to win. And when you figure that out, Kolani, that's when you start saying, oh, that guy, he's waking up at 4. Okay, he's waking up at 4, but what is he doing at 4 o'clock? And in life, Kolani, you can do a lot of things in terms of coping. In school, coping is not allowed, but in life, coping is very much allowed.
Yeah.
Right? So you can start learning from others that are successful and say, okay, that guy woke up at 4. What can I do? Okay, he's doing that, and he's looking for opportunities. Oh, okay, so this is how you actually look for opportunities. And I almost want to say, to stay at a granular level like that, there is no secret sauce, Kolan. There is no secret sauce. There is no big things that are out there. It's like, I always say to my Christian friends, God is not going to come down and say, hello, it's time now to be successful.
Yes, my
You've
son.
been praying. Yes, it's nothing like that.
True.
It's praying, yes, it's fasting, yes, but there's an action part where you need to start putting in effort in waking up, learning, and asking the right questions, or even the dumbest questions. Go to school, ask the dumb questions. And then above that, you start taking in some actions. So when I was employed, Kolani, I used to look at other people that were successful, people that were earning more money than I am. And I would ask the question, why are they earning 1,000 and I'm on 100?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Why? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that one is experience. So does it mean that after me working for 20 years, I can also be on 1,000? But what if I want to get 1,000 now? So what should I do? When you start asking these questions, Tolani, what happened in your mind is that the mind starts opening up for possibilities of wanting to learn.
Yeah, true.
Right? And then thereafter, you start now seeing what you were not seeing before. It's like these people that go out and you buy a red car, and you are driving down the street and your friend comes through with a red car. It doesn't mean that there were no red cars before. But because now there's a red car in your space, all of a sudden, you start seeing plenty of red cars around you.
It's true.
It's because your awareness, your mind is woken up. And I am no different, Kolani, from anyone else out there. I am just as human as everyone else. When that alarm, Kolani, hit at 4 o'clock, I'm telling you, I didn't want to wake up.
Yeah,
I've got a beautiful wife. I totally wanted to stay in bed, right? But Kolani, on the other side, I had someone coming to pick me up. I made a commitment.
Yes. Yeah.
I strayed true to my commitment of waking up. On the other side, I know that my kids wants to be fed. I know that I have a business that is accountable to me. And guess what happened? I said, tomorrow I might not wake up at 4 o'clock. Let me jump on the road. And I've been on the road since 4 o'clock this morning.
It is the price that you have to pay.
100%.
All right. You know what interests me about your story? It is your first deal. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I said, you know what, Tarai Jack, in his first deal, he spent 8,000 rand, into a property, right? And my friend was like, impossible. Like that has never happened before. And I told him, listen to Jack and listen to Tarai Jack. He's going to let you know as to how he did that. And a lot of people don't believe that you actually did that. And I want you to, just to take time and break it down as to how you actually did that.
Kolani, I generally don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I don't talk about it is because sometimes when you are telling people that there is gold, to those that don't see the gold, they'll say it's a scam. So they are not, their mind is not open to it. 5 years ago, we could have 10 years ago, just listening to the radio over the internet, if we had told some other people, they would say it's not possible. It can be done, right? Even today, there are still some other people that will still think what we are doing right now, me and you, they'll think that it's impossible. So number one, right, Kolani, it comes through from a moment of where you actually need to be open-minded. That's the first thing. You need to be open-minded for you to receive new information. Because if you're not open-minded, even if I'm to explain the deal right now, a lot of people might not catch it because they are not open-minded. So I suppose what I'm basically saying, Kolani, here is to anyone else who's listening right now, please be open-minded whilst I tell you how it actually went, right? And the second thing is that, Kolani, even though you're open-minded, if your mind has some preconceived ideas, and what do I mean by preconceived ideas? Your mind is thinking that it should be done this way.
Yeah.
Getting married, it's about paying lobola. So now all of a sudden, someone else of a different race, they say to you, no, we don't have to pay lobola. In your mind, you're thinking, hi.
That's not marriage.
So this is not getting married then.
Yeah.
Because there is no lobola, ne?
Yeah. Because
you've got a preconceived idea. So let's be open-minded and let's not have preconceived ideas, right? So, Kolani, for me, I went to school. I sought information on where can I get the information to help me to grow. And then thereafter, I got someone else who knew a lot than what I knew. And that person is called a mentor, or it can be a coach. And in the process, they guide me on the process of what I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they said to me, TJ, you now understand how to look for opportunities. Go and look for deals. All right? And I started looking for opportunity. I started looking. So before we spoke about this first deal, Kolani, it's also very fair for us or unfair of us to mention that this was my first deal. I had bought properties before.
Is it?
But none of those properties, of course, yes, I had. But they were not as good as the first one that I bought in property because I didn't have the right information.
Yeah.
Right? My preconceived ideas said I need to go to the bank and to get some money. That was my preconceived ideas. And I had bought a farm which I lost money. I had bought my house where I stay. My wife had bought one or two other properties and, they were not making money, any profit. So it wasn't the first one, but this was the first one that I bought that I put in 1,000 Rand. And out of that, it's actually my only money that I've ever put into a property in terms of building my business. And over and above that, Kolani, the point is that when I started learning, right? And when I started learning what I didn't know, I was open-minded. And with the open-mindedness, I started figuring out that, okay, this can be done like this. And then thereafter, the coach was now able to give me direction of how are things done, okay? And I looked for an opportunity, and this opportunity that I had a look at, I went back to someone else who knew better. And I said to them, look, there's the deal that I've got here. Does it make sense? And they said to me, yes, it made sense. I know how to calculate and things like that because that's what I'd learned in school.
Yeah.
So for us, many a times we want to have the success part of it, but we don't want to learn.
Yeah. No, it's true.
And that's the problem.
how are you going to succeed if you don't want to learn? And a problem that I've realized with people is that they never want to be told or given advice, you know, and some people don't even want to admit to the fact that they have to go to someone who has more knowledge than they do.
That is that whole thing, Tolani, of being open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not open-minded, then you're not going to receive any information from anyone else.
Yeah.
Right. So from there now, Tolani, when I started now, I identified the opportunity. I had no money at that time. I was broke. I had no money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I was open-minded because I was open-minded to learn, because maybe you could say at that point that I didn't have money, so I was open-minded, right? But if you are hungry for anything, right, you are going to be open-minded for it.
True.
Right? Unfortunately, we get open-minded, Tolani, for the wrong things in life. And I almost want to say that, you know, we go to the shops and we see new sweets, né?
Yeah.
And we are given sweets, and we automatically, because we are being given, we are open-minded and we get it. But what do sweets do to us? Makes us fat. No, it's too much sugar.
Yeah, too, a lot of sugar.
Right. But I want to come back to the point to say, okay, fine. Now that I'm aware that I can go and get a good deal, I went back to my coach and I said, help me to work on this. And out of that, then said to me, okay, let's go ahead, put in an offer. I put in an offer and I said to my coach, I don't have money. And they said to me, but it's a good deal. We can find the money. And I was like, okay, open-minded again. I put in my offer. He then asked me, he says, TJ, how much money do you have? And I said, I don't have money. And he says, no. I mean, like in the next 30 days, how much money do you have access to? And I said, I've got 1,000 Rand. I'm getting paid on day X, and I might have 1,000 Rand. And he says to me, okay, fine. On the offer to purchase, the guys were demanding for me to put in a deposit. And I literally put in 1,000 Rand. And remember what an offer to purchase, Tolani, is. It's a willing buyer, willing seller.
Yeah.
You can put in anything that you want on an offer to purchase for as long as the seller is in agreement with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Now, once you get to that level, now, Tolani, where the seller and the buyer is in agreement, then the contract of the offer to purchase is now binding. Of course, there's a middle person that we need to consider here, who's the estate agent.
Of course.
But for me at the time, because I had a coach or a mentor, I went back to them and I said to them, so where are we going to get the difference now? And he said to me, look, in my community, amongst the people that I coach and network with, I am going to ask to see whether there is anyone who might be interested to partner up with you.
Yeah.
Partnerships are not new to anyone. Partnerships are there, Tolani. A husband and a woman, a man and a woman, they get into a partnership and they get married, become husband and wife. It's a partnership, right? We send our kids to a school, and it's a partnership between us and the school to raise our kids in the education that we are looking for. Isn't that the partnership?
Yeah, it is, certainly.
So from that partnership, I was there, and my coach kind of like then put this relationship with someone I didn't know. But my coach was very instrumental in that. Then thereafter, obviously, I had to meet this person, and that person needed to understand or also to be happy with me as a person, right? And they came with the difference of the money. Entire money of the project in terms of buying it, they put that money down. And we went together now as a partnership, we went to buy this property. When I tested that, Tolani, I realized that, no, hold on. I can go and buy more properties. I just need to find these people that are called investors so that I can get more properties. How many people are like that in South Africa? There is plenty of them.
Yeah, true. It's true.
Some I don't even know. Some of them you might know. But the point is that someone needs to do the work to find the property. Someone needs to do the work to talk to the investors. And I am not the only person who does this. There's plenty of people that can do this. And this is why when I wrote my book, Kolani, I am of the view that anyone can do this. And that's why I have now partnered up with your guys' radio station to say, I think if we educate people, I think if we give the information, we plant these seeds. Those that are willing to do it, they can go and do it for themselves and start winning as well.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You know, as you were speaking, I'm thinking about the power of association and how critical association is, you know, in getting yourself out of the mess, you know, that you're in, because you said that you were once broke and how you were able to get yourself because you have a mentor, and also the power of association, you know, and I want you just to drill this into our listeners' heads and hearts, you know, the power of association and how important that thing is.
I can't stress this one enough, man. And I want to almost start from a granular level, you know, from where it all starts. Remember when you and me were playing with mud and playing with the bricks on the street growing up?
Yeah.
And you were playing with a tire, and it was an old tire with your friends and mud and water and all of those nice things.
Yeah.
Your mother would say to you, don't go and play with so-and-so, right?
Definitely.
They were seeing something. Because the power of being in company with someone can either mold you or can break you or can just leave you at a, I call it passive. You know, you look warm. You're not aggressive. You're not doing anything.
You're just okay.
Right.
There is this term in the townships. They call it. They say it's no mayini. Means anything. It's okay.
All right. Right. So the power of association basically means, and I started understanding this one, Tolani. You know, back in the days, I used to like watching TV, and I would look at wild dogs. You know, those dogs in the wilderness, they're called wild dogs, name?
Yes, yes.
And when they are a pack, right? When they are a pack, when there are a number of them, let's say 5 to 20 or 100, anything that they decide to take on, they can take it down. But if it is just one, it will die. That says something about power of association. Who are you associated with? It's the same thing, Kolani, with the fact that if you start hanging out with guys that are drinking, their spare time, every time they want to do something, they are wanting to drink. What do you become? You become a drunkard.
Yeah, automatically.
Right? Automatically.
Yeah.
Now, if you are into women and me and you are gents, and if you are into women and you are just hanging out with other guys that are into women, even though if that person is married, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It follows.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, let's bring in the same thing. What about if you are one of those people, you are very religious, right? And again, you just hanging out associated with people of religious. You become what? A prophet or something else of great, because people that are around you are either giving you a direction on where to go. You are seeing what they are doing. So obviously, the more you see different things amongst you, you start also wanting to do it, right? Yeah. Or those that are around you, they start nudging you to do other things. Or those that are around you, they start passing on some opportunities to you, right? Because remember, if I may bring this to property now, let's take an example. You and me are hanging together, right? And I see property, let's say in Midrand. That property is for 200,000. But because I am always looking for opportunities, and this opportunity comes to my table, and I am not interested to do that property, right?
Yeah.
And you are in my midst, and I know that you haven't done a deal. You're always calling me. You're depressed. TJ, I want to do this, but can I not pass this deal to you? And if I pass this deal to you, haven't you tasted success now?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So the power of association gives birth to a number of things. Number one, it gives you the ability where other people start sharpening you directly. Or because of what they are doing, you start learning. And by learning, you are sharpening yourself. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be with this person, like 24/7. No, it doesn't mean that. It might mean that this person has wrote a book. Go and read that book. It might mean that this person here has maybe a podcast or whatever it is. There is nuggets of information that will come through. So out of all of this, along the way, you are learning whilst you're with them. Obviously, the best is being around them. Look at footballers, Tolani, that go out as 19 and someone starts playing for Mamelodi. By the way, I'm not saying that I support Mamelodi. I'm just saying.
We don't know.
At 19, they start playing for Mamelodi, right?
Yeah.
And what starts happening to them? Because they are playing with other senior guys that are better than them, guys that have fallen, guys that have had injuries, right? What do you think happens on the soccer match? They are sharpening each other. Definitely. What do you think happens when they're in the bus? They're talking about, you mustn't do this. You should drill like this.
Yeah.
What's happening to that 19-year-old?
Sharpening.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the power of association. And the beauty about power of association, Kolani, it's not that, it's not like, when you're being born, you can't choose who you associate to be your parents. Yeah. You don't have that ability.
Yeah.
Right. But for associating with other people, you have the choice.
True.
So you can decide to say, I want to associate myself with Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I want to associate myself with Elon Musk. I want to associate myself with Somizi. You can go all out if you want.
Definitely.
So how do you start doing that? Some people, we can't get through to them. Like Elon Musk, we can't. For those that don't know who Elon Musk is, the guy that wants to take us to Mars.
Yeah.
So, but how about start reading his books?
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. That's association.
Yeah.
Right. But for me, Tolani, I want to bring it like very home. I always want to give nuggets, or should I say, actionable things that you can do. In your area, who is doing property? Look in your area. And if you know that person, how about, I said this to someone else not so long ago, one of my students that I mentor. And I said to her, this is what you want to do, right? I don't do this. But can you go and find someone and volunteer your time? You know, Kulani, I read books from very much like 1920s, 1950s, when morals was at very high standards amongst many. And a lot of people back then, they started their employment by being a volunteer.
Sure.
And they'll get an employment at the lowest amount of money being paid in that organization. and they rose up the ladder.
It's true.
There is nothing that beats volunteering. I am here. What do you want me to help you with? What's going to happen there when you volunteer? A couple of things. Number two, you are going to give your time to that person. You value your time, isn't it?
Definitely.
So you are going, you are, because you value your time, you are now going to put effort into what these people have potentially said you should do, because you value your time.
Yeah.
So that's your accountability, number one, because you value your time. Number two, you're also showing seriousness to the person that you're saying, I want to volunteer. And then number three, the person that is going to say yes, they might have some doubts. But because you are saying I'm available, they'll probably test you with very stupid things and to test you to see whether you are really interested. If you are really interested, you can start doing it. But by doing it, what now starts happening is that you start learning. And there is nothing, Tolani, that beats learning with being practical. There is no one who can take that experience from you.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Yeah. Reading a book, you might be saying, Tolani, hey, what does this mean? Because the English might just miss you a little bit, né? But if you are reading a book compared to physically doing it, a person who physically does something versus the person who is going to be reading a book, I guarantee you in 6 months' time, that person is a better person than the one that's been reading.
Definitely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. All right, Jack, Tarai, Jack, sorry to actually interject there, but we're running shy of time. And I just want you to, because I can see now it is 13:52. I just want you to close this so that next week, Wednesday, from 1:15, we can continue again, because this is going to be a weekly thing. Every Wednesday, you're going to be learning as much as you can about property. We'll be inviting others. It's going to be myself, it's going to be Tarai, Jack, and others that are professionals in this field, in this sector rather, so that you can learn as much more as you can. That was Tarai, Jack. And yeah, it's been great. It has been great having him on the show. It is exactly 13:53.